The time is here. We're talking about the biggest game of the Colts season. Colts versus Broncos in Denver for a mile-high showdown. Welcome back to episode 11 of the Colts Unplugged pod. If you're not subscribed to the fastest growing Colts podcast in the world right now, a little bit of bias, but in the world, what are you doing? Click that subscribe button. I'm your host, one of your hosts rather, Profan Logan. I'm joined by Ati Logan, my other co-host. How you doing?
Good, brother. I'm nervous. That bye week was good for calming the nerves of the cardiac Colts, but now I feel like fuck. We're ready to go again. We're ready to go.
100%. Yeah, I'm feeling the same way. It's making me have those jitters that I had around the Houston game last year, and I know you were in the house for that one. It feels like that. It feels like the season's on the line, and I believe you have some stats for us.
Yes.
For just how much the season is on the line. I know a lot of people. I want to start the show off. A lot of Colts fans want to know if the Colts win, what's their playoff chances? If the Colts lose, what's their playoff chances? What are you seeing?
Yeah, Colts fan, the jitters are going to keep on going because right now the Colts are sitting at a 30% chance to make the playoffs. This is prior to playing the Broncos here this upcoming Sunday. If we win that game, that number moves from 30% to 66% chance to make the playoffs. And I think the reason that's the case, Logan, is even though we'd still be a game behind, the reason it's sitting at that 66% is because our schedule going forward is a lot easier than that of the Chargers and the Broncos. And the Broncos, if we end up both with the same record, we'd have that tiebreaker over them. Because we play, I believe, the Titans, Jags, the Giants in no particular order. The Broncos still have I know they have the Chiefs, they have the Chargers, and they have one other team on their schedule. I forget who it is that they've got to play. So a little bit of a difficult schedule there. If the Colts lose, consider this season to make the playoffs, the chance to make the playoffs kind of gone or eliminated. If we lose, that number goes from 30% to a 9% chance of making the playoffs. So that's just something to take into consideration how important this game is. I know, Logan, I created a video for our pages today about it. This game is literally, like you mentioned, Week 18 Houston last season. Obviously last time was win and get in. This essentially feels the same way. And we get to see it around a couple of good games in the afternoon. I didn't know, Logan, this game was being played at I've been a Colts fan for 26 years. I didn't know that the game was being played in the afternoon. I got to wait a whole other 3 hours post-noon game.
No, 100%. I did not actually know it was a 4:25 game until I rechecked the schedule before we were, hopping into the show today. So yeah, I also thought it was potentially a 1 p.m. game.
There's so many good games now in the afternoon. I just wanted to watch those instead of being cardiac Colts for 3 hours during those games. But here we are.
Yeah, but hey, that's one of the games of the week, though. So there you go. You get to pay. Yeah. You get to pay primetime special attention to one of the biggest games across the NFL, I'd say, honestly, not just in Colts Nation, not just in Denver. This is a big game. It's going to determine a lot as far as what the playoffs look like.
You know what's another not so cool fact is if the Colts lose this weekend, hopefully not, hopefully AR5 do your thing. If the Colts lose this weekend and the Texans win, I think the Texans secure the division off of that. So Texans, I believe, play Miami this weekend. We play Denver. If we lose and the Texans win, the Texans, I believe, are AFC South champions in Week 15. So something to take note of.
Yeah, I guess you're right because that would put the Colts their best record at that point. They would be 9-8, and then I believe the worst that the Texans could finish.
Be 9-8.
Be 9-8, and they have the tiebreaker. Yeah, you're right. Wow. Okay.
Yes, so
we're looking at a potential scenario. Yeah, we're looking at a potential scenario of the South being gone as well. Okay.
Yes, so a lot of things to consider this weekend.
Yeah. No, that makes me feel even more nervous. So thank you for that.
Yeah, your palm's sweaty. Mine a little sweaty right now. Just kind of thinking about it.
100%. So one thing I was thinking about before the pod was just kind of how these two teams match up, because obviously if you look on paper, just sort of from a bird's eye view, bird's eye perspective per se, the Broncos are definitely, I'd say, the hotter team right now, and the team that most people would consider obviously better. They're favorites. I believe let's see, I think the line right now was sitting at 4.5. Is
Yeah,
that
I
what
think
you're
it's still
seeing
four
on
and a
most
half.
books? Yeah, I
Still
think it's
four and a
sitting at four
half.
and a half. So not like crazy favorites, but they think they're going to win by more than a field goal, obviously, them being
Yeah,
Vegas. So
I feel like anything more
I,
than a field goal is like that's they're pretty much they're pretty good favorites. Which I think Vegas obviously
yeah,
sees something, but
that's true. But at least it's not like a touchdown favorite or something.
yeah,
You know, it
yeah.
could be worse. I guess they're giving the Colts some respect.
I'm at
But
least taking the
I wanted
Colts
to
to
ask
cover.
you. Okay, yeah, I actually like that Colts cover too because they're playing a lot of one score games. So I definitely
Hmm.
think they can keep it within three. With that being said, where do you think the Colts are going to be able to take advantage of this Broncos team? And then what are some areas on the Colts where you think the Broncos might be able to have their way a little bit?
Yeah, yeah. I know. To speak to that, the first part you mentioned before the pod started, we were talking about kind of the Broncos' defense and things of that nature. Broncos are kind of, despite having some pretty good DBs, right? They have Patrick Surtain, they have second year or third year Moss out of Iowa, actually. So he's coming along. I don't know if he's
Mm-hmm.
playing this weekend. I know he was out prior to the bye with an injury, so I have to check up on that. But they are currently ranked the 19th pass defense, so kind of in that average realm, and it's kind of crazy. Hey, AR, like I know you're a dual threat quarterback. You've been passing really well. You've been getting the ball at the right spots. You've been putting. You can kind of tell, like even in the New England game, like not everything was a fastball. He's putting some touch to some of those balls. That fourth and goal to Alec Pierce, it had touch rather than fastball, which is probably what we'd see in like week 1, week 2 of AR. So growth there, which is cool to see. But they got to get this passing game going. Denver, I know we talked about earlier too, sixth in rushing defense, like you mentioned before the pod. So if we can get the running game going, I know they probably haven't seen a. I said did they play Lamar this year? I don't remember if they did, but they haven't really seen a dual
I
threat.
felt like they did, but maybe, yeah.
But they haven't. I mean, if they
If they
haven't, they
did, it
haven't
was
played
at
a.
the beginning of the year. Oh,
Yeah.
they did. They lost big time. It was 41-10. So maybe that
Okay.
could be an area the Colts could take advantage of. They haven't played a
Okay.
lot of really mobile quarterbacks
So
like that.
they've seen one like that, but that was probably during that Bo Nix time when he started off like 0 touchdowns and like 3 picks or something. He's turned it around since then. I think he's had
Yeah.
like 15, 16 touchdowns and
S-
2 or 3 picks
mhm.
in this last
It
like
was
6 games.
early November that the Broncos played the Ravens. So
Okay,
so that
four
was
or
like
five weeks
right
ago.
before they started really going on that run. Yeah,
Yeah,
winning 4 or 5 straight. So
and for me, it's kind of weird because like you see sixth in rushing defense, and I just feel like the Colts are. I mean, in regards to the Broncos being sixth in rushing defense, I feel like the Colts are a little bit of a different team because you have the dynamic of Anthony Richardson, and they've called a lot more in the last 3 games since post benching. They've called a lot more QB design runs to the outside, up the middle. A lot of AR keepers versus JT keeping it. And you like to
yeah,
see it because it mixes things up. And I don't like that's why I see those stats. I'm just like, yeah, they're the sixth best rushing defense in the league, but they haven't seen outside of Lamar a quarterback like AR over the last 3 weeks. So it'll be exciting to see what they can do to dissect that rushing defense, but also in that passing side of the equation. I know Josh Downs was a limited participant today with that shoulder injury. Having him back is going to be key for this.
yeah,
Pittman, this bye week was key. Pittman was able to rest his back injury. Adonai Mitchell hopefully was practicing, catching the ball, which would be helpful. We could have really used that against the Patriots. But if this unit can be healthy, the pass catchers and don't drop the ball. I thought Dan Orlovsky tweeted, he goes, the only way the Colts are going to beat the Broncos is if there's 0 drop passes. So if that can be the case, I think we have a pretty good chance of upsetting the Denver Broncos. What about you? What are you saying that?
yeah. I don't know if you touched on it, but I think the area that I wanted to highlight the most about the Broncos defense is the fact that the Broncos are second in red zone defense. So
Yes.
that's going to be absolutely crucial for the Colts, right? They're going to have to turn those Matt Gay field goals, as we mentioned a couple episodes ago, turn those Matt Gay field goals into touchdowns, right? That's going to be priority number one that I'm going to be watching for. I think whoever wins in the red zone, this isn't a crazy take, right? A hot take. Whoever wins in the red zone, I think, has a really good chance of winning this game
Yes.
because 7 is more than 3, right? At the end of the day. So that's
Math.
where you would get that math. This is a math pod, guys. Colts
Yes.
Unplugged Pod Math Edition.
Score more, win. Score
No,
more to win.
so yeah, score more equals W. So I really do think that, though. I think that's going to be a crucial area because the Colts defense is actually not bad in the red zone as well, as we've highlighted on the pod before. I don't know exactly where they're sitting now, but I think they're at like 12th, I want to say, like
Yeah.
12th to 13th in red zone D. So they've played pretty well in the red zone, and they don't give up a ton of points, right? That's the only reason that they have been in games this year, because they give up a ton of yards, but then once they bend all the way down the field, they don't break. So
Yeah.
that could be interesting to see if, you know, the Colts could somewhat match Denver's vibe in this game and actually hunker down in the red zone and not let Denver get off to a hot start and not let them
Yeah.
put sevens up on the board, you know?
I'd say another big key to success too is we all know that this Broncos pass rush, it's really good. With their key player Nick Bonito, we talked about. He's I think 11 and a half sacks on the season, third most in the league so far. So he's getting to the QB, he's getting there fast. Pass pro, you guys need to show up. I know Ryan Kelly was designated from IR today. He practiced in limited today. In Wednesday's practice report, Braden Smith, prayers to you, man. I don't know what you're going through, but I hope everything's okay. We're going to be praying for you. He was out today. Steichen mentioned he doesn't know if Braden Smith is going to play again for the rest of the season because of some personal matter. So, that's a very good right tackle. But, we have Matt Conclaves. I don't remember how to pronounce his name, but we've got him. He's been playing pretty well. Goncalves, yes. 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
And he's been balling out. He play on the left side, play on the right side now. Bernard Ryman's back, Ryan Kelly, Quentin Nelson. We'll probably, I know as of right now, Dalton Tucker is written on the right guard, but I think Mark will be in there, hopefully. And then we've got Matt at right tackle. So I think a solid O-line you're coming out with, even though it still has 2 rookies. Got to pass protect, though. You got to protect AR. Give him enough time to dissect this 19th ranked pass defense in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And like you mentioned, AR is going to definitely have to use his running ability in this game. I think he needs to be more decisive with that this game because he's going to be going against guys like Nick Bonito that are more than capable of tracking him down and obviously sacking the quarterback, right? He's got 11 or 12. What does he have? 12 sacks now?
11 and a half sacks on the season.
11 and a half sacks, yeah. So almost 12 sacks. So yeah, AR is going to have to definitely be decisive when he does choose to get out of the pocket or does choose to extend a play, because you don't want a strip sack situation, right? That is a game changer. Like if the Denver Broncos can get a strip sack or, a big pick six or a fumble recovery for a touchdown, that could really just flip this entire game plan on its head for the Colts. So,
and they had 2 pick sixes against the Browns. So just something to just be careful. This defense is pretty sneaky good. They're ball hawks. They're going to get to the ball. They're going to get to the quarterback in regards to sacks. So absolutely, Colts need to be at it and need to be prepared. I just don't want to see a one-dimensional game, meaning if the run game isn't working because this run defense is pretty good, don't stop. Still put in JT runs, QB design runs, things of that nature, and give AR quick and easy reads in the pass pro game. Obviously, take those deep shots. They are a team that plays a pretty high percentage of man, so something to look into. Cover one as well, cover one man. So it's just something to look into. They play like 36 or 35% of their defense they come out in like 3rd and long situations as man. So yeah, I would big explosive plays maybe to Alec Pierce if he can get some separation there. But still, I want to see some easy reads, easy passes for AR to complete to kind of get him in the rhythm, and then obviously those QB design runs and get JT going if possible.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that on Twitter, actually, on your tweet the other day. That was my number one key for this game, for the Colts to come out victorious. I understand that the Broncos are the 6th rated rush defense, right? I don't care. I don't care. Hand the ball to Jonathan Taylor. Even if the first couple drives it's not working, you still need to work a touch or two in there somehow, some way. If you got to get it to him in the screen game, that's fine too. I don't care. Get the ball in the hands of your, in my opinion, still best offensive player on your team. I know AR is nipping at his heels, and some of his teammates are saying that, he might be the best player on the team, but Jonathan Taylor is an all pro. Jonathan Taylor is a pro bowler. Jonathan Taylor is someone who has had an MVP caliber type season in the National Football League. So
Yeah.
get the ball to Jonathan Taylor, and as long as he's not injured, let him go. Let him go, Shane.
Yep. Viewers and listeners, if you guys can't tell, ProFan Logan is really passionate about Jonathan Taylor. So please give him the ball. Please give Jonathan Taylor the ball. Get him going.
We need JT.
We need JT.
I used to have the run the damn ball hat, man, and I got to bring that back. I don't know. I think I got rid of it a long time ago because it got messy, but man, we need the run the damn ball hats.
What a better time to do it.
Firmly on our heads.
Dual threat quarterback, plus with all pro running back. Best time ever to run the damn ball. So many different ways.
Yeah. And going off of that too, I think, like you said, to your point, got to get AR in a rhythm early in the game, right? And what better way to do that, like you mentioned, than having AR get comfortable, take not a big hit. We don't want our quarterback to take a big hit, but take the first contact of the game rather, or little 10-yard scamper there and get him settled down. He talked about before how it sometimes settles him into the game when he gets that first rush or two, right, and kind of gets a little bit of a dust up or gets his first contact of the game.
Yeah,
maybe we need that early, right? On the first drive, call a couple designed Anthony Richardson runs.
Love to see it.
I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, Logan, a couple things, flipping to the other side, a couple things that concern me is mostly on the defensive side of the ball for Indy. It's the fact that, Gus Bradley just tends to, you see all these rookie QBs like Trevor Lawrence his first year absolutely dissected us and still has in his third year going forward. You just see Drake May just absolutely dissect us this season. You've seen backup quarterbacks like Jake Browning last year absolutely dissect us. Bo Nix, the reason Sean Payton drafted Bo Nix so high is when obviously they needed him. They needed a quarterback. But secondly, he's a very accurate passer, and he's going to get the ball to the right place pretty quickly. I'm not going to say he's Drew Brees, but he's Drew Brees-ish, but he also has legs. So he's going to get the ball to the right place. He's going to get the ball out fast, and he's also going to use his legs, to hurt you when everything else is covered. So Bo Nix is going to be a force, even though he is a rookie. Make him uncomfortable. Send blitz packages. Make him have to actually read the defense versus coming out and cover two, I think like 50+% of the time in a game-to-game basis. So Gus Bradley, dial something up, man. You can't just let Bo Nix sit there in the pocket and dissect you like you have every other rookie and young quarterback and backup quarterback. And then also, they've got not great, but I think three pretty good running backs that you need to take care of. Like Audric Estime, he's the rookie. You've got Javonte Williams, obviously. He's still 24, 25 years old. You've got Jaleel McLaughlin, who had a big game. He averaged like 7 yards per carry against the Browns, who have a good rush defense. Find a way to limit these explosive plays. I know, Gus Bradley, you mentioned that. Find a way to limit these explosive plays, stop the run game. I feel like it's kind of been same alphabet soup every single game we talk about Gus Bradley's defense.
Yeah, 100%. I want to go off of the first statement that you said where you spoke about Bo Nix. I think he's due, right? He's due for a rookie performance. I mean, you look at what happened with Jaden Daniels, right? He went on an absolute tear, an absolute heater. And then he had a game where he looked like a rookie, right? And I think you're going to have that your rookie season in the NFL, even if you have a fantastic season. Man, oh man, I'm asking the football gods to maybe allow this to be the game that Bo Nix has his rookie game. I know he had a couple stinkers early, but he hasn't had one in a while. He might just be due.
Logan, I wouldn't throw
Um,
my mortgage on it though. Like that's not.
I
I
know.
wouldn't throw my mortgage on any quarterback having a shit game against
I'm
Gus Bradley
trying to talk
defense.
myself into it, but as I say it, I understand it sounds ridiculous because you're right. The Colts have given zero confidence, I guess, have given us any reason to have confidence in their ability to slow down just the methodical passing down the field. I mean, they just get torched in the middle of the field and they have all year. And honestly, I can't remember a time where I mean, I can, but over exaggeration, I can't remember a time where they have been able to stop the pass over the middle.
Please
Maybe
just
back
cover
to the Dungy
linebackers,
days, you know?
please.
I
Yeah,
mean, come on.
maybe. Hey, Shaq.
Yeah.
Shaq was a pretty good
Yeah, you're right.
pass
Yeah.
coverage.
Yeah. But even, I mean, even sometimes though, yeah. It's just, it is what it is. I agree with you. But I do think that is the key is to hopefully blitz Bo Nix and hope he has a little bit of a rookie day or maybe just not as good of a day, right, as he's been having. And instead of him going crazy, maybe he just has a mediocre game. You got to
And
give yourself a chance.
even if he does have a good game, let him have a good game anywhere from the red zone out. In the red zone, hold him to field goals.
Yeah.
Like if he's gonna have a good
100%.
game, hold him to field goals. And it scares me because they've got some, coming into the season, you never would have thought that like the Broncos have like pretty good like wide receivers or like a wide receiver core. They're kind of coming along. Like Cortland Sutton's playing really well. Marvin Mims has taken a huge role in the last couple of weeks. They've got Vele, who's that young wide receiver. He might be a rookie. And then they've also got Troy Franklin, their wide receiver 4 coming out of Oregon, who played with Bo Nix, has that chemistry already. So just some sneaky, decent, average to above average wide receivers. Cortland Sutton is playing like a true wide receiver 1 this season. Again, like 10 to 12 targets a game. But biggest thing, man, like you said, all those crossers in the middle, things of that nature, the tight ends, like linebackers, come out. You had your bye week. Come out, do your thing. Show us that you can protect the middle of the field. That is your territory. That is your home. Be a dog. Protect that shit. Because I'm tired of these simple, easy completions that our linebackers have to cover and unfortunately can't. But hey, Jalen Carlisle, he's designated off of IR. He's practicing full today. So if we get him in the rotation a little bit, he was the fourth. He was ranked the 4th best pass pro linebacker prior to being injured in his limited snaps. So that'll be exciting. Exciting to see.
Yeah, need him back and need Josh Downs back, which transitions me into the next quick segment, and then we'll do our score predictions. I was gonna ask you. I'm gonna give you mine real quick first, and then I'll ask you. As far as X factors, I think it is so crucial that Josh Downs plays in this game. I'm going to say if he plays, the Colts legitimately can win. They have a legitimate shot to upset them. If he doesn't play, I don't think they win. I think it's that big of a deal of how much of a difference he makes and how much of a safety blanket he is for Anthony Richardson. So wanted to get who do you think is kind of like an X factor, I guess, or someone that you've got your eye on for the game?
I'm going to say X factor is a unit, the offensive line. The offensive line needs to show up. And I know, you had some injuries here and there, out for personal reasons, injuries, designated from IR. You guys need to show up. I know you're starting 2 rookies. You got to protect AR. This is a very good defensive front that's going to get to the quarterback. And we've seen sometimes AR, we love you 5, but we know that occasionally, you'll have that fumble here and there, miss snap, mishandle. You're running and you kind of lose the ball here and there. Just secure that ball because this defensive line is going to come for you. They're hungry. They're ball hawks. They're going to try to strip you. They're going to get to you. They're going to sack you. Nick Bonito's going to do his thing. So offensive line, come prepared to block the hell out of this. This is a playoff game. Guys, you want to make the playoffs? It starts here in Mile High on Sunday. So show up for your fans because we're expecting a win. We're expecting a win.
I'll say this, going off the playoff sentiment that you just mentioned there, I really hope that Shane Steichen, I hope everybody that is a leader in the Colts locker room leading up to this basically playoff game this week. I hope that they bring that sentiment to practice and make it very well known. I hope they don't try to like beat around the bush like, oh, it's just another game. Let's bring a little bit of intensity. Let's make it mean something, right? Let's
Even
make
off
it
of a
mean
bye week.
more off of a bye week, right? I mean, come on. Let's go in there with mindset like, hey, this is a playoff game, guys. This could very well be basically our last game of the year. Let's go give it our all.
This is
And I
playoff
think if
football,
they come
baby.
in
In December.
100%.
Come on. Riled up.
So I'm saying, like, if you go in there like that, you at least give yourself the best chance to win and the best chance to be locked in as far as on the mental side, so you don't have any mental errors, and shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
So if they go out there and they put up a really good fight and you can tell they're mentally sound, I'm going to be happy as a Colts fan, right? Like, obviously, we want them to win this game. We want them to have a chance at making the playoffs. But at the end of the day, I just want them to go in there and really compete and actually look like they belong. That's it.
Yep.
That's my ask. So what are we thinking for score predictions? I know this is going to be a doozy. I feel like this is going to be one of the harder games to pick all season.
Yeah.
So what do you got?
I might sound foolish and a little bit biased, but I'm taking the Colts 28-24. So a little bit of a higher scoring game, high 20s. I think you got to score to win. I think this is too.
So the reverse spread there, not just covering the spread. They're gonna cover the opposite spread. Okay,
exactly. Well, what were they, -4.5 or +4.5? So
okay,
maybe I should.
So they would almost reverse spread it. Yeah.
Yeah, I should just give them 28-23. I'm gonna say 28-24 though. The Colts win a must-win game, a playoff game at Mile High. What about you?
Wow, bold. I like it.
Bold.
I'm gonna go. So I exhausted my bold pick already this season, Ati. I picked I picked the Colts over the Lions, and so I feel like I have to reverse that, and I've already exhausted it. So I got to roll with the Denver Broncos. I spoke about it a little bit last episode, but I just think this Denver Broncos team again is really hot at the right time. And they have some really young studs on both sides of the ball that are really hungry right now. And they almost don't know that they're not supposed to be here. Like, to them,
that's fair.
It just seems like, oh, we're just here. Like, it's a confidence, it's a swagger thing, and you can kind of feel it when they play if you watch some of their games. So, I think they're gonna take it at home, but it's gonna be a close one, a heartbreaker, another cardiac Colts moment. Where the Colts come back and they fall just short. I'm gonna go Denver. Let's go Denver 24, Colts 21.
Colts cover.
Colts cover. And you know what? If they go out there and they show heart, this is our Colts. This is our team.
We bleed blue.
That's all we
Thank
have.
you, Seth. Please.
Whether win or lose, we love them. So at the end of the day,
we do, but win. Please.
But we do want you to win. Yeah,
but just win. Just win.
Other than that, guys, really appreciate you hopping in to preview Colts versus Broncos with us. Like I said, for the game of the year. Again, if you haven't followed the Goated Colts podcast, aka the Colts Unplugged pod, what are we doing here, guys? If you're a Colts fan, you got a sub. Appreciate everybody for subscribing to us, showing us any amount of love. Can't wait to hopefully be talking about a Colts win here on the next episode on Monday.